Aloha, everyone. Thank you for the gift of your time in joining us today. In just a few moments, Governor Josh Green will sign two bills related to tobacco products and electronic smoking devices. Facilitated questions and answers with media will follow promptly after remarks conclude, and the formal bill signing will commence shortly thereafter. It is now my honor to introduce to you Governor Josh Green.
Aloha. Good to see you guys. This is incredibly important legislation. And before I get into kind of formal comments and thank yous, let me say this. People ask me all the time, why do people live longer in Hawaii? Why are we the health state? It is in large measure because of the work that you guys have done on tobacco. It really is. We live 3 years longer. I know we have some, ideas of built-in advantage because of ethnicity for some of our society, though we have some challenges too. Our Hawaiian community has health disparities. We have the outdoors. You can exercise. It's wonderful. But a lot of people are on their phones indoors, okay? It's the work that you guys have done. I'm going to single out for a half second Carl Rhodes, and I'm going to mention Roz Baker, who were superstars for us. Carl is not gone just yet. I wish he wasn't retiring. Truthfully, he is my state senator. But he, in addition to Scott and others, did great work on this legislation and over the years. Thank you, guys. Because they're ancient and leaving, we're going to give him extra credit. But Roz also, we always want to remember Roz Baker because, boy, passing legislation over those years, moving tobacco up to age 21, making it much more difficult for minors to ever access cigarettes or vaping devices, which we're going to talk about today. Big deal. So when I talk to governors across the West, which I do very frequently, I tell them the incredible work that people have done from our students through our legislative leaders and Department of Health leaders and our community. That's why we live longer. We have fewer heart attacks, fewer cancers because of this. So thank you, everybody. So let's get to the day. We are going to hear from our House leader, Scott Matayoshi, on behalf of the House. Maybe we'll, yank up Senator Rhodes because he's such a, media whore, always up here. We're going to have Kai and Maya also speaking to us. First bill up, and let's go, there's the slide. So Senate Bill 2175 and House Bill 1573. What they do, and here it is. Senate Bill 2175, it regulates disposable electronic smoking devices. Vaping is bad, period. It leads to young people getting addicted to nicotine, and either it affects their physiology and their development, and or they get hooked on cigarettes later, which is even worse, or also horrible. I don't know how to say it, okay? So thank you, guys. Thank you for fighting for these bills. Thank you, AG. Great, you guys have been wonderful on this. It prohibits the sale of any disposable smoking devices in the state of Hawaii, and we're going to keep tightening that up as we go, which is why it's so great to see all of our leaders from the House and Senate, because this is a process. It protects communities and the environment from hazardous waste. So throwing these products into society, into beaches, into our streets, you see them. They're also toxic for the environment. And violators are going to be charged $100 a day for violations. So we wanted to give some extra support to the Attorney General's office, who's been really great on this stuff, okay? I know we're wrestling with the federal government on a lot of issues, critically important, but here at home, we're taking care of our health. So that's what that bill does. And now let's go over to the next. House Bill 1573 enhances regulation of electronic smoking devices and e-liquids. Look, first of its kind in the country. The House and Senate have been on a roll this year. First, we took on dark money. Was happy to sign that bill. You know what? It's already really resonating across the country. Thank you, Carl, for that. Here's another one. Now we are going to establish that the state can also regulate these products. We believe in state rights, I hear, from the federal government, so let's do it. And that means if that's the case, we're going to be thoughtful about this because it's our health. It's our people's health. It's our keiki's health. It's secondhand smoke. It's all these things that we have a right to protect and to work on. So very brilliant. And there you see in the picture, us being rallied, frankly, by young people. They made those signs. They helped us to understand exactly what the exposure is, and I think that's probably what Maya will talk about. Let's pop to the next slide. So there's our fearless Attorney General wearing the pink shirt that the advocates made for us, and it is just terrific because starting on January 1st, 2027, the Attorney General will be able to help us with all kinds of additional regulation and put pressure on the manufacturers of electronic smoking devices. They will be in the place to approve them or disapprove them and to weigh in. We like the local control. We know what our health concerns are. We have the right to fight for them. And also, if people don't comply, there should be penalties. Why? Because there's already penalties on our health, because these products are hurting people. So good on you guys. Tarna's fabulous. Okay. Next slide is just an incredible mahalo. I'm grateful that you didn't capture my bald spot in this picture. Thank you for that. I'm grateful that we see young people along with our legislative leaders. Thank you guys. Just amazing. There isn't enough said about how bad vaping is for teens. Even though we're trying to scream it from the top of the mountain or here in the Pacific, it has to stop. It has to stop. And that's why your leadership, you guys, is just fantastic. So thank you again. I do hope and expect that every year we're going to continue to push the envelope to make sure that there's not vaping available to young people. I look forward to the dialogues that we get to generate because we have more state control about any number of issues. But let's take these victories today, and they build on victories of the past. Thank you, guys. Aloha.
Mahalo, Governor. Next, I would like to introduce Representative Scott Matayoshi, Chair of the House Committee on Consumer Protection and Commerce.
Mahalo, everyone, for being here. These two bills represent an incredible step forward in the right direction to stopping flavored vaping products and vaping in general from addicting a new generation of our kids and all the health and economic and learning consequences that come with nicotine addiction. The first bill bans the first bill bans disposable vapes, and it's always so great to see two issues come together to fight the good fight. We've got the environmental cause, saving our environment, reducing e-waste and toxic materials from going into our landfills, and we've got ending this nicotine addiction that's really been plaguing our students for generations, perhaps hundreds of years. I want to shout out to Senator Richards and Rep. Capella for introducing the Senate and House versions of this bill and their foresight in seeing how these two issues, the environment and ending the sale of nicotine, could come together to really fight together for this bill. One of the biggest things that I've noticed about vaping is how prevalent it is in our schools. When I talk to school principals, they bring up vaping as one of their top concerns. And when I walk around, I was just walking around an elementary school playground the other day, and I found a disposable vape on the ground of that playground used. These vaping products are getting into the hands of not only high schools and middle schoolers, but also elementary school students as well. And the effect on their learning, the effect on their brain development is enormous. So I think this bill is a really great step forward in ending flavored vaping, ending just vaping in general, getting into the hands of our kids. I'm not impractical here. I think kids are still going to have access to vapes through illegal methods, but it's going to be much more expensive and much more difficult for them to get a hold of these vaping products. And I think that's an incredible step forward that our state made. The next bill too, incredible step forward. Not a silver bullet, but it's allowing our state AG to have enforcement powers in seizing and destroying these illegal products that are not FDA approved. There are tens of thousands of products out there right now that are not FDA approved. What this bill does is it narrows it down to just 45 products that are FDA approved. So while it won't take vaping off of the shelves, it'll really narrow down that scope on what kind of products are now legally available for purchase. And in doing so, again, it'll make it more difficult for these products to get into the hands of those people who should not have them. I'm really hoping that this will eliminate 99.9% of all of the vaping products on the shelves out there, including almost all of the flavors out there. And those flavors are the ones that target kids, that tempt kids into this lifelong nicotine addiction. So really thank you to our legislature for stepping forward. Thank you to Governor Green for signing these bills today. I think this is a historic day and making two enormous steps forward in eventually eliminating our state's dependence on nicotine. So thank you.
Mahalo, Representative Matayoshi. Now please welcome Kai Carvalho, Public Relations Director for Hamakua Kohala Health.
Aloha nui kākou. First off, I'd just like to say mahalo piha to Governor Green for being a champion from the very start. To our community partners, our OPIO, our friends, mahalo for never giving up and always showing up year after year, not because you had to, but because it was kuleana. To everyone sharing space with us today, mahalo for being here for this momentous ceremony as we recognize House Bill 1573 and Senate Bill 2175, where we are choosing our aina, where we are choosing our kai, and where we are finally choosing our keiki. My sincere gratitude to you, Rep. Matayoshi, and our Moku o Keawe lawmakers, Senator Richards, Rep. Tarnas, Senator San Buenaventura, Rep. Liloy, Rep. Capella, and Rep. Kahaloa, for your continued kāko'o, support, and aloha throughout these years. Mahalo. The passage of these bills show your leadership in addressing this pono'ole, this not good issue of electronic smoking devices, where its poison has brought harm to our land, our ocean, and the lungs, hearts, and minds of our young people for more than a decade. It seems like only yesterday I was with a 6th grade student who I helped get quit, who had been vaping regularly since she was 8 years old, 3rd grade. This is only one story of the hundreds that have haunted us every day as our community partners have brought awareness, education to the families of our beloved Hawaii. The time is now to ho'omau, to continue this journey to further protect our land, our keiki, and our napo'eo Hawaii. Mai po'ina, don't forget, our youth are watching, and they are counting on us to take action to the promises that we make to them, to continue protecting their health, their future, and the places they call home. Eo e ko Hawaii pai aina. Mahalo nui kākou.
Mahalo Kai. Up next, please welcome Maya Butts, youth advocate with the Coalition for a Tobacco-Free Hawaii.
Aloha, everyone. Mahalo, everyone, for being here today. I want to begin by thanking Governor Green, our legislative champions, advocates, community partners, and everyone who dedicated their time and effort to making this historic achievement possible. For years, the members of the Coalition for a Tobacco-Free Hawaii Youth Council have worked to make this day possible, meeting with lawmakers, testifying at hearings, educating our communities, and advocating for policies that protect our youth and our aina. For a very long time, our school bathrooms have not felt like functional restrooms and more like places to vape. I've watched my smart, athletic friends completely lose their motivation. They get hooked on these devices that taste like candy, move on to other substances, then lose their spark altogether. But today, we are here to celebrate a massive shift. By clearing these products from store shelves, it will allow students to focus more on what we truly love. We get to focus on our sports, our education, and just enjoying being teenagers without the constant distraction and pressure. And aside from what these products do to our bodies, they also do so much damage to our precious land. Living in Hawaii, we know that we must take care of our aina. But these products do a lot more damage than what we would expect. I have found myself picking up plastic disposable e-cigarettes during beach cleanups out of the sand. This bill will have lasting impacts across our state, from protecting the health of our communities to preserving the environment for generations to come. We are grateful to have been part of this journey, and we are so proud of what we have accomplished together. Thank you all so much.
Mahalo, Maya. We will now take facilitated questions from the media, and we will start with Michael from Aloha State Daily.
Representative Matayoshi mentioned 99.9% of vape products would be effectively excluded by these bills. What can you tell me about the 0.1% that make it through?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if the White House was listening, but right after we passed this bill, the FDA approved a couple flavored vaping products for the first time ever. So I'm not sure if it was in response to this bill, but unfortunately, when we first introduced this bill, we thought it was going to sweep all flavored vaping out of it because the only FDA-approved products at the time were tobacco flavored, which, you know, that's how it goes. It's really the flavored vaping that targets the kids. But again, right after that, I think 2 or 3 flavored vaping products became FDA approved. So while it will eliminate almost all other products, there's a very short list of products that are FDA approved that you can find on the FDA's website that will still be allowed to be marketed.
There is a benefit. I mean, not only, of course, we get to 99.9, I'm feeling good about matters, but when they try to create loopholes, the market forces alone will really take care of that. It's very difficult for anyone to be in the industry in a market where, let's just be honest, we don't want them here in Hawaii, and we would humbly ask everyone out there who has previously been selling them to young people to stop. But to try to find a very small loophole for the purposes of marketing to young, awesome people like Maya, they're going to lose money also here. So at the end of the day, it's all about money for those folks that continue to sell, e-cigarettes and whatnot to our people across the country.
And I know vapes, e-cigarettes, they've been touted as a tool to help people quit regular tobacco smoking. As a doctor, how do you feel about that?
I'm just going to make a couple comments, and then we have an expert from DOH who's been with us forever on this. I don't buy it completely. The more available vaping and e-cigarettes are for that small number of people that come off of traditional cigarettes into that space, number one, it's still not good for you. It's still a lot of chemical that is going to affect your heart, your brain. But the biggest problem has been getting a whole generation, as we just heard, an 8-year-old, and innumerable middle schoolers and high schoolers hooked. We are still, no worries, we're still losing the battle overall by having e-cigarettes available. Society has found a way to quit smoking traditional cigarettes through medical means, through behavioral techniques. We should lean on those. But I would like to bring our expert.
Thank you, Governor Green, and thank you, members of the legislators and the Attorney General. So thank you for the question. Indeed, over the years, we have seen that with adults who have concurrently used e-cigarettes and tried to quit tobacco smoke, they're less likely to succeed. We have also found that for young people who start on e-cigarettes, they're more likely then to switch onto combustible cigarettes. The other problem that we're finding now that e-cigarettes have been available for a while now is that in terms of if we were just to look at the effects of e-cigarettes on our health, we're finding that there's a greater risk for cancers, and so of the lung and the oral region. And so it is not a safe product to use for quitting. We do have the Hawaii Tobacco Quit line, and the legislators here and our past governors have been, and our current governor has had the foresight to set aside some of the tobacco MSA dollars, and our AGs continue to protect that money. So it pays for the Hawaii Tobacco Quit line. It is available for people who want to quit smoking, and we do provide free nicotine replacement therapy. People like Kai are also tobacco treatment specialists, and so we have grantees through the Hawaii Community Foundation who also provide the in-person support for people who want to quit smoking. So support is available. Thank you.
Pardon me, can I ask for the journalists and the viewers who are watching live, if you could provide your name and your title?
Thank you so much. My name is Lola Irvin, and I'm with the Department of Health, and I'm a division chief for the Chronic Disease Prevention and Health Promotion Division. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I just want to quickly respond to that because it's always an annoying argument to me when people say vaping products will help people quit tobacco. If that's the case, then make it a prescription. You know, if you want to use it for medical reasons, it should be prescribed to you in doses that will allow you to wean off to actually quit smoking. We don't just sell people nicotine gum and hope they quit. You know, if we just sold nicotine gum over the counter to anyone, including kids, we'd have a way larger problem. I mean, that argument never made sense to me. I've had friends who, in fact, I know he's not here right now, but I had a friend who tried to vape to quit, but the vaping, it allows you to up the nicotine as much as you want. So he ended up upping the nicotine to kind of insane levels, and he got more addicted to nicotine instead of less. You know, smoking a cigarette requires a physical act to get a certain amount of nicotine. If you can up the vape nicotine percentage in your vape, you can start consuming far, far more. So if people want to quit and use vaping as a device to quit, totally fine. They don't need a flavor to quit. They can use a tobacco flavor because they're used to smoking cigarettes anyway, but make it a prescription, get a doctor in there to get them to wean off of it instead of being used as a tool to just further addict themselves to nicotine.
That's great. Yes. And before we go on, I definitely want to also say we've had a lot of champions today. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention we've got Lisa Martin, who's been fantastic. Rep Takayama, year after year after year, here constantly helping us to push back on big tobacco, and Rep Tarnas, our Judiciary Chair, who just continues to put that positive pressure with Senator Rhodes on this industry. And it's a good thing, guys. It decreases our health costs. It decreases our health, terrible health outcomes. This will be beaten back in Hawaii.
Mahalo, Governor. Now we have from Hawaii News Now, Kai.
If you can just tell us a little more about how you plan to enforce these regulations. There's a ton of vape stores all over the island. I imagine that will be quite an undertaking.
Yes, in fact, I'm lucky to have my Attorney General here today, who will be at the forefront of enforcement. There's been a long-standing need to enforce at the actual shops because it's just a lot of people. But by adding penalties, which was very smart, it should empower Ann and her team. But let me let her speak for her team. Good to see you too.
I love that question. People might not know that we already have a tobacco enforcement unit in the state of Hawaii, as do every other AG office in the United States. That money or that funding for those units come from the Master Settlement Agreement, which I think was 20 plus years ago, Chelsea. And so the state continues to receive monies every year from that. Those monies help our tobacco enforcement unit, and our job is to actually go out to shops to look at the cigarettes that are there, make sure that they've been taxed properly, and confiscate anything that has not. What's exciting about this is we didn't need new money or new positions to get this started. We already go out to those stores. We will continue to do that, and we'll redouble our efforts to ensure that we get these products off the shelves.
Bit of trivia. My Uncle Rick was the mediator for the tobacco settlement case nationally way back, and very proud of that uncle I have, because that money went to all 50 states. and it is empowering attorneys general, just like Ann, everywhere, to really lean in, because it takes resources to fight back a very moneyed industry. Okay, so I think we're coming to a close now. Would it be okay if I brought everyone up to sign the bill? Bills? Okay.
Yes, sir. I would like to invite now Governor Green, our state legislators, and of course, key stakeholders to come up to the podium for the formal bill signing and subsequent picture taking. This concludes our formal program.
Okay, so here we go. What we're going to do, come on up. Don't be shy. Well done. So the first bill that I'm honored to sign today, Senate Bill 2175, relating to disposable electronic smoking devices. Again, phenomenal work, and I want to single out Maya in this case to have young people and people who are in high school who are wise beyond their years but fighting for their classmates and their younger siblings. It's just phenomenal. So this one's for you, young woman. Go and become a doctor if you don't mind. This for you, and here we go. Oops. There we go. Let's pull this out. I gotcha.
Thank you. Okay, look in here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, anyone else?
One more right up here. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
One more. Okay, good. Good.
Okay, very cool. And now, if I may, this is relating to health. This is our second bill. This is electronic smoking device and e-liquid manufacturer certification directory penalties. Sounds very boring, but it's going to be very effective. The magic is in the ability to empower the Attorney General and their team, and to really put pressure on the manufacturers against selling in our state and to have actual penalties. So fantastic work. And this one, if I may, thank Kai from Big Island for all the next week.
Okay, look in here. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
One more here. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Good.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Appreciate you.